Hey everyone, welcome to Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast. This podcast is all about farmers markets. Whether you're a farmers market manager or a small farmer or food maker selling at farmers markets, you have found just the right podcast.
I'm Kat Fields White.
And I'm Bridget Myers. We're longtime farmers market managers, educators, and consultants. Get ready to catch up on all things farmers market pros with us. Today, let's talk about National Farmers Market Week. It is right around the corner.
Peak, coming soon. So many things coming soon. Today's episode of Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast, is supported by the National Farmers Market Coalition, giving farmers markets a voice in public policy and strengthening farmers markets for the benefit of farmers, consumers, and communities. Find more information by clicking their logo on the resource page at farmersmarketpros.com.
Well, welcome back to Tent Talk, everybody. National Farmers Market Week is coming up. It is August 6th through the 12th, and it is time to get ready.
3 weeks away.
3 weeks away. Let's do this.
We can do it.
We love a deadline.
Yep.
Hopefully, some of you are ahead of us in your planning process.
Hopefully.
Maybe you're ready to go.
I feel like this one even snuck up a little bit on Farmers Market Coalition. I feel
Do
like,
you feel like they were a little surprised by it?
yeah, I feel like their toolkit came out just a little bit later. I mean, they've only got a 5-week run up in the toolkit for getting ready for Farmers Market Week. I think maybe in the past that was more of an advanced effort. Maybe they're just figuring we all have it figured out by now. We're ahead of the game. They don't have to give us too many instructions. We've got this.
Their trust in us. It
They are.
overfloweth. They've
That's
also
true.
had quite a year. They are going through some changes, staffing, administration, which happens once in a while to all of us, right?
Yeah.
Happens to the best of us.
Actually, I just heard from Ben Feldman
Oh,
earlier this week. So
How then?
apparently he's still hanging in there. He said there's a new executive director on the way. He will be staying with Farmers Market Coalition, of course, to still manage some of the policy things around the Farm Bill. So it's nice that we'll have that continuity. And I'm excited to see who their executive director is.
very
You
excited.
will hear it here, probably not first, but maybe second.
We are the breaking news channel that you need. Well, we did just talk about celebrating things at farmers markets a couple episodes ago. So we kind of touched on National Farmers Market Week, but we wanted to get a little specific today and just talk about some things that are coming up for this year. So this year's theme for the Farmers Market Coalition National Farmers Market Week toolkit and all the kind of resources they have is farmers markets are changing the way.
Yes, that's their new theme. Luckily they have the Farmers Market Coalition toolkit. It's like 9 pages. It's updated. It's out in the world. It gives you a ton of stuff to work with. It's got graphics for all the different social media platforms, even Twitter, if anybody's still tweeting out there. A press release template, planning guides, advocacy resources, lots and lots of talking points. All the nitty gritty is in there.
I love that. Even as like a very seasoned farmers market manager myself, sometimes, especially in the summer, like you're just overloaded. And it's really nice that they just serve it up on a platter for you and say, here,
For sure.
take this information and share it. They're very generous with their resources and their templates and all those kinds of things. So I just find that so, so useful.
I mean, they're the ones really that have kind of kept Farmers Market Week alive through a variety of secretaries of agriculture. It used to be, the Department of Agriculture just did this proclamation, and Farmers Market Coalition has sort of taken that ball and run with it, taken that watermelon and sprinted down the field. And they've really made it sort of an organized thing that all of us can jump onto, keeps it sort of consistent in terms of messaging across the country. And that's crazy helpful. So I talked to Anesta Romberger. She's the interim communications manager at FMC. Speaking of changes there's a new communications manager coming in who looks really cool. But
Mhm.
talk to Anesta. She says the theme for this year, as you mentioned, is farmers markets are changing the way. And she said that theme serves as a prompt for market organizations to create and customize their own message, telling the story of their market, hopefully using data. You know how the Farmers Market Coalition loves a good data stat, and sharing unique ways that their markets are working to make change in their community. So you take that sentence and then you finish it your own way. Farmers markets are changing the way we eat. Farmers markets are changing the way we communicate. Farmers markets are changing the way we grow our communities. So that's sort of a starting point. And the idea is that you'll add to it.
I like that because I feel like then we get to see kind of how market operators and vendors and farmers at the markets like see themselves as what they're doing and their like why farmers markets are changing something in their communities and in their little parts of the country.
Right. Or how farmers markets are changing the way farmers are able to sustain themselves financially.
Mhm.
Depending on who you are in the market community, anybody can use that because it's awesome always to see not just market managers, but farmers running with this topic and including in their social media, or bakers that sell at farmers markets. Each part of our community can really take that theme and personalize it.
Yeah, for sure. I had a conversation with some of our regular shoppers. It's like two families that come to the market all the time, and they were saying that farmers markets are changing the way that they're raising their kids because it's really like a great way because we're talking about living in a big city. It's like urban kids are so out of touch with their food a lot of the times, and they're just raised that way because we just get Amazon Fresh delivered, so it's like a million miles of separation. And so coming to farmers markets is just like this touchstone for their kids and how grateful they were. They were talking about their favorite farmers and their little honey sticks that they get from Janet at Farmer's Daughter. So yeah, it was just really nice. And that made me think about the theme for this year's National Farmers Market Week. Connected everything.
So we could encourage our shoppers to run with it. Say, hey, you can talk about how farmers markets are changing the way you do something in your family. You do something in the way that you eat. So that would be kind of a fun thing to encourage our shoppers to fill in that blank.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then our friend Nina Budabin McGowan, we've talked to her before on Tent Talk. She's at Farmers Market Coalition, and she says we're thinking about farmers markets as agents of change on everything from new kinds of fruits and vegetables to creating public spaces in neighborhoods where that doesn't exist otherwise, and to making anti-racist practice a priority in how farmers markets and communities take up space.
I love that. It's just like a big reflection on everything. It's a nice time of year to annually reflect on farmers markets and what we're doing and the work that we're doing, and that's important, and what's important and which direction we kind of want to head in. Not that it's a new year, but just kind of remind everybody what farmers markets are doing for their communities and all the things that people maybe don't think about that we're doing.
Right. Yeah. So I think this is really a message that's important and that we can use as a year-round campaign. I mean, you can go pretty deep with this one. It's not quite as short and snappy as some of the recent themes.
Yes, they seem a little bit more, I don't know, in depth this year. So it's kind of as a marketing tool, maybe not as like fun as we've had in the years past, but can definitely be used in different ways. And then FMC also tells us that we are like totally fine to just continue and reinforce the last few years' themes. Farmers markets are still essential, obviously, and that was a big thing that we used last year and the year before, and that is a good reminder for everybody.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to continue using that one frequently in our hashtags and things. And then, of course, my favorite, which is farmers markets don't just happen, because truer words were never spoken nor hashtagged than that. They do not just pop up. It's something that we work very deliberately at, and we all work hard at to make sure that they're wonderful and that they add so much to our communities and that they keep farmers farming. Yet another good hashtag.
Keep farmers farming. We did just I printed new staff sweatshirts and t-shirts a few months ago for our markets, and it says farmers market staff on the back, and then underneath the staff it says farmers markets don't just happen.
I think that's awesome.
And we've had a lot of compliments and comments from shoppers that are at the market. They're like, "Oh, staff, like staff for what?" And then they keep reading and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I guess someone's in charge over here."
Oh.
So it's been really helpful. It's like funny and also just helps recognize the work that market operators and staff do. And also I can have a discussion like these markets wouldn't happen if farmers weren't farming, if bakers weren't baking, if candlestick makers weren't making all the things. So just kind of pointing that out to our lovely and sweet oblivious shoppers.
Yes, for sure. I think they want to be educated.
They do. Yeah.
They're always really enchanted when we explain that, yes, we do something the other 6 days. But there's a lot that goes into this behind the scenes. And then there's a lot of effect that farmers markets have on things far beyond what you see when you walk up the street on Wednesday or Saturday or Sunday.
So National Farmers Market Week is a really good time to bring all this stuff up, because sometimes it's hard to like bring it up in casual conversation or bring it up on your social media, just all of a sudden like, hey, we do work to make this happen. But National Farmers Market Week is a good time to say, hey, happy National Farmers Market Week. We'd like to honor and thank our operators, our farmers, our vendors for making this happen, for showing up at 4 a.m. every morning on the streets and working every day, weekly, week in, week out, or whatever season you have going on. And it just is a good like conversation starter.
For sure.
So that's what I like about the week. I mean, it's great to have celebrations and things going on at the market, but really it's like a conversation point for us at our markets for sure. And I know a lot of other markets take the opportunity to do that with their shoppers.
Absolutely. And then there's the other piece, which is just having some fun with it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you haven't ordered your Farmers Market Coalition. What do those tattoos say? I love farmers markets.
I love farmers markets.
Yeah, with a little green heart.
Classic.
Yeah, if you haven't ordered those temporary tattoos from Farmers Market Coalition, as soon as you're done listening to this episode, jump on and order those. So I think you still have time to get them for this year. I have seen some other markets that are using those, and then in addition using like the cute temporary tattoos from Tater Tats.
Oh, yes. I love those temporary tattoos. They're so sweet. Little fruits of veggie tattoos.
Right.
Stickers can be a good option if you don't want to deal with having like a little wet paper towel or having, kids wander off and really want to wear them, but no way to stick them on. So stickers are great, or
Stickers
just
are a
little
great idea.
pencils, or
We use coloring sheets a lot of times
Mhm.
at our markets, and then you can get, where do you get those? I mean, I'm so scared you're going to say Amazon. You probably are, but either Amazon or Oriental Trading or somebody like that.
I'm going to say
You
the
can
A
get
word.
those little tiny, yeah, don't say the A word. You can get those little tiny boxes of crayons.
Yeah.
And then we have some creative coloring sheets. I think we even
Mhm.
have those in our Canva. So
We
we'll
do
put
have
them in
the-
the
yeah.
show
We'll
notes.
put them in the show notes. We just kind of created those on Canva. If you have a Canva account and you want to do something that's specific to your market and put your market logo on there, that's always fun. And then make sure that you put your market name and days that you're open and location on the coloring sheet.
Please put a
because-
location on there. I've been just kind of banging my head. This is kind of my thing this last 2 weeks is I've been banging my head about markets that have beautiful social media accounts, but don't say anything about what city or state they're in. Where are these guys? I want to
tell
go.
But if you're handing out coloring sheets to folks that are coming to your market every week, those parents are maybe going to hang those sheets up on the wall in their house. So what greater free advertising can you do than put your market information on something that's going to be hanging in somebody's house?
No kidding.
I mean, that's just wonderful.
Take that magnet, stick it on the fridge. Every time they go to think about eating, it'll be right in their face.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
cute. Magnets are another good thing to pass out.
Yeah.
We find those are really effective. Same thing. You want to make sure you got a logo or something on there that indicates who exactly you are, and run a little circle around the edge of that artwork that says Thursdays from 3 to 7 and says where you are.
Yeah, make sure all that important information's on there. We have our farmers market bingo that we talked about a few weeks ago, and we're going to add that again to the show notes so y'all can find that. It's really easy to do. You don't have to have a Canva account. You just click on that. You can print it out. So we have a really basic one, and then you can also edit it if you want and say, find Farmer John, and ask him how many carrots he brought or what, like you can kind of customize it to things that are happening at your market, or just use kind of a basic bingo. And these are things that you can hand out to your shoppers and not have to run a whole activity booth. So think about your bandwidth and if you have time to run a special activity, or if you just want to have stuff at your booth to celebrate and hand stuff out. So usually at our market, especially our Saturday market, it's just so crazy. We don't have time to do activities, but we love to hand stuff out to our shoppers that are coming through. And then for your vendors and farmers, what we've done the last couple of years is just print out little quarter page, like on cardstock with a little market logo on it. And it says, thank you. And we have like pencils at the booth, and we encourage our shoppers to take a little card and write a little thank you card to their favorite farmer or vendor at the market. And just say, hey, thanks for teaching me how to cook that kohlrabi.
Yeah.
Or thanks for always giving my daughter a little strawberry when she comes by, or something like that. And just, it really makes a difference for the farmers and the vendors because they are making these markets happen week in and week out. And so just to get that recognition from the shoppers can be really special. So that's something easy you can do as a market operator.
Yeah, really simple. And I've seen people do that a couple of different ways. That you can either encourage the shoppers, especially at a smaller market, to kind of take those little thank you cards and hand them to the farmer or vendor that they appreciate. You can also collect them at the booth and then pass them out later.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So they don't have to walk around, or if they already came from that booth. You can also have a big card like at your table at the info booth or on an easel, and folks can come by and just say thank you to the market, or we love the market, we've been coming here for 5 years. It's just like a little gratitude, kind of like pat yourself on the back, but help folks recognize that they do appreciate the market, and it's nice for them to be able to have an outlet to kind of express that to you.
For sure.
Yeah.
There's it's a little tight on time at this point with 3 weeks out, but government officials and press love to come out to farmers markets. They're used to being assailed with really hard questions and not necessarily all positive things. This is a great source for really good news with a really pretty background. It's a great time for elected officials to come out and do a proclamation and say that it's Farmers Market Day in your town or your county. So reach out to their staffs now and see if you can get on their schedules. A lot of them are really happy to do that. And if the government officials come out, a couple of things happen. One is you're making friends with that official. So when you need them to ask them for help or support later in terms of a zoning issue or some kind of financial support that they've got something available for small businesses and you can hook your small farmers and businesses up with them. If you've asked them to come out and play with you on celebration days, you've got a relationship starting there and you can parlay that into asks later. And then also when they come out, a lot of times the press will follow them out. It's a great hook to take film of the mayor at a farmer's market and then run it that day on the news when they need a little good news to balance out any of the other stuff they're covering.
Yeah. So many opportunities to kind of take this week and make it very special and, use it as a marketing tool. Don't feel bad about that and really celebrate yourself and celebrate all the hard work that you do.
Yeah. Get out that line up in a line and give each other a pat on the back.
That's right. That's right. And we appreciate all the work that you do because we can't be the only farmers market in the world. So if we are not all doing this together, then what is it all for? And we're just really appreciative that everyone does such hard work all year long. I know we celebrate once a year, but really it's like we are celebrating every single week farmers market. So we appreciate you all. And I hope that you have a great National Farmers Market Week celebration. We want to hear what you all did. Hopefully you'll take pictures and tag us in your photos and videos from your market and tag at Farmers Market Pros so we can see what you're doing at your market.
Absolutely. Happy National Farmers Market Week. Thank you to Farmers Market Coalition for advocating for farmers markets, providing all the tools to make Farmers Market Week continue to be relevant and visible, and for supporting this episode of Tent Talk, the Farmers Market Podcast. Our sponsors, conference and consulting services, let us create this free content every week, year after year. To join Farmers Market Coalition and support their work, click their logo on the resource page at farmersmarketpros.com.
Thanks for listening to Tent Talk today. Please leave us a review on your podcast app, YouTube, or wherever you access this podcast, and tell us how you're enjoying Tent Talk. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss the next episode. Connect with fellow farmers market folks in our private Facebook group, the Farmers Market Pros Community. Follow us on Instagram at Farmers Market Pros and find online education and other resources on our website at farmersmarketpros.com. Don't forget to sign up for our email newsletter while you're there. Tent Talk is brought to you by Farmers Market Pros, where passion meets profit. Today's episode was produced by Haley Pascalades. Original music by David Mead. Join us next week for another great episode.